dealing with people is your number one know-how of how to be successful in any business. Whether you are a grocery store on the corner or you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars in multifamily, you have to deal with people.
So, everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Miss Rayna Mike. She has over 25 years of experience in real estate and mortgage banking. She started as a loan originator and insurance agent in LA in the 80s, back in the good old days. And she's the broker, owner, realtor, and chief executive officer of a few of her companies, including her core real estate company. She graduated summa cum laude from UCLA, dual degree MBA and JD, Trump University graduate. Your resume is just the longest of them all. I love it. And currently, she's the CEO of Love Apartments and Capital Investments, accumulated over 500 units since 2017, over $20 million in valuation. And currently, I think you guys are over 1,000 units under contract for another 800 units in the next 90 days and raised less than 10 million, but most of it is the rest of the capital is friends and family. So you guys have a lot of deals, a lot of experience. You have a very lengthy background. So I'm really excited to get into kind of how you started and how you got here. So sound good to you? Let's do it.
That sounds wonderful. Sounds absolutely wonderful.
Awesome. Can you briefly describe your current business model and what you guys are trying to accomplish?
In the last 10 years, our business model has been value add. In the last couple of years, we focus more on small value add versus previously having a very heavy lift on, if we acquire 100 units, 90 of those have to be rehabbed, very heavy lift. This last couple of years, we have focused on light value add of properties, and we've been happier and less stressed and really have seen the fruits of our labor. The hard, heavy lifting, lots of stress, lots of people that you have to deal with. It has been a success. However, very blood, sweat, and tears, I call it. And if you want to do the heavy lifting, I congratulate you. But we are at a point where we are purchasing 85 to 90% occupied properties, and we're lifting, but we're lifting light lifting. And last year, we partnered with a very significant mobile home park operator, and we're acquiring mobile home parks now very actively. We have about 550 mobile homes under contract in 4 states, and we love the mobile home space. We had tried to get into it without partnerships, but I believe in partnerships. Partnerships is really the best way to get into a certain asset class. And we're very, very happy entering finally after quite a few years trying to get into the mobile home park space and RV parks together. They go together. You can always open some space into a mobile home park for RVs or not. So yeah, that's been the most significant changes. Partnership with other operators has been also very successful for us. We love partnership, and doing a memorandum of understanding and doing what you promise you're going to do is not that hard. It's giving your word and sticking with it. I think that's the only way. That's the only way to keep your partnerships clean and happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the kind of mindset that it's a small industry, right?
Very.
As soon as you go outside your own circle, you start meeting people. You're like, oh, wait, I know a person who knows this person. So treating everybody the right way goes very far, I found. Like, you undersell one person, right? You hurt one person, and karma is very real in this industry. Yeah, I like that
People
mindset.
forget. People don't
Yeah,
forget.
they don't.
People
So
don't forget. People have an elephant memory, I call it.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious, you have this long educational background. Obviously, you have degrees and you probably have a lot of options after leaving UCLA and everything like that. So what motivated you to pursue a career in multifamily, like commercial real estate in the first place?
In the late 90s, I started purchasing, because we're from LA, I started purchasing small multifamilies. We had a gazoo of single families all over California, from northern all the way down to San Diego County. And I started buying the first 8 and 12 unit. We bought two buildings, one 8, one 12 unit apartment buildings in Pasadena, California. Anybody who is from California knows Pasadena is a decent area. Even the barrio is a decent area. So and I immediately recognized that I am so much better with economy of scale versus buying many single families and having the management and the maintenance and all that is so much more fragmented versus keeping it in one spot, one building. So that's when I fell in love with multifamilies, and there's no going back. We haven't really bought single families for the last 15 years. We're not looking at them. We don't want them. We don't need them.
Yeah,
Kind
who
of,
wants to deal with tenant?
we divorced from single families. We're permanently.
Yeah, yeah. I think many people in this call can relate to that. That's the old like tenants and toilets joke, right? They have
Yes.
their upsides, and you have to hire a property manager, and at that point, or asset manager, and at that point, you're doing multifamily, just fragmented across many properties. Okay, gotcha. And so, how did you acquire the necessary skills and knowledge, especially in the '90s? You don't have YouTube, right? So, did you have a mentor or a coach? Like, how did you navigate that?
Absolutely. My first mentor was my late husband. And then I connected with syndication lawyers, and Gene Throwbridge was one of my first mentors.
Mm,
He is the OG, right? Gene is
right.
the OG of syndication. He invented syndication. He dreamed up this word. I think. And I became a certified syndicator on his 2-week course. And he was a very influential mentor of mine. He's still a very good friend. I still keep regularly in touch with him. But mentorship and learning is really my passion. I love learning. I get into anything and everything to learn and to improve. And to improve on the operations is really a daily learning. You can always improve something and cut down costs and raise profit if you look closely enough at the tiny little bitty details. And the devil is always in the details.
Absolutely. Yeah, Gene is definitely the OG. Yeah,
Yes, Gene is the OG. Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, him and Dave, I think, Dave
I
Lindo
don't. Dave's been
with
my mentor. Yes.
yeah, for 20 plus years before
Yes.
the like
Yes.
mentorship, like mastermind space really blossomed, like in the last 10, 15 years. They were there at the start because Tim, he was in Dave's program back in the early 2000s as well when he
Same.
first started doing
Same.
single family. So
Same. Yes.
it's
Yes.
yeah, it's funny
Same. I
how
was in the
like
mastermind for quite a few years. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny
Yes.
how like we said, the world isn't that big. Very good. And so from learning from Gene and everything like that, I'm curious, you like your first big capital raise you went on where you're going to investors and asking for money, right? The reason we're here.
Yes. Yes.
Can you share your experience from your first capital raise and any challenges you faced, how you overcame them, and also how much different it is now than it might have been 10, 15, 20 years ago?
The challenge in the beginning was nobody knew me. Where's this girl coming from? Okay.
Mm.
Okay. She has blonde hair. Okay. So what? I don't have to give her $1 million because she's got blonde hair and she's cute. I don't have to do that. So it was really to prove the concept and to show the investors that we're here to stay, that we're not fly by night like some other people are, that we have the longevity, that we have the know-how, how to keep going and how to keep growing and going. It was a challenge, definitely a challenge, but developing the relationships, to me, people are a lot more important than deals, always. And I think people know that, and I think people can feel that you understand that they are more important than any deals, any dollar signs, anything else. They come first. When people sincerely understand and feel that, I don't think it's very hard for them to write a check or wire the money.
I agree.
Especially if they
Michael.
know that you're going to be there, that you're not going to
Mhm.
ignore them, that you're not going
Yeah.
to not return their calls and emails. Yeah.
Some of the best advice that I give people that I got from Michael Guthrie, he's a mentor in our alliance. A lot of you guys know Michael, is
Yeah.
he says it at all our events. He's stop Because we have these events and people come and they say, hey, nice to meet you. Here's my deal. And he's like, stop
Oh
pitching
no.
your deal to people. People don't care about your deal because people don't invest in your deal. They invest in people.
Exactly.
And you'd be surprised how many people just they think that because 10 years ago that might have been the case. Hey, I have this good deal. Good check.
Yeah.
Like 2015, right? Like the height of multifamily capital raising was
True.
a lot different.
True.
It was just, hey, here's an email with my deal. But now this market, people they care about your deal, but only once they trust you,
Yes.
right?
They
And
invest in
so that
you, not in your deal. Whatever deal it
Mhm.
is in Alaska or New York, you can make it happen.
Absolutely. And so I'm curious, how do you see capital raising different in 2026 than like 2006? What are the biggest differences besides the technology aspect? Or maybe you can go into that. What's like the biggest difference you think now?
I think the biggest difference between now and 2006 or 2010 or 2015 even is that people are a lot more knowledgeable of our field, and a lot of people have been studying and preparing, especially the professionals that we are looking for, that we are targeting, high earning professionals. They have done a lot of their homework and they can tell right away whether you are real or you are just waiting for that. I believe people are a lot more sophisticated than they used to be in 2015 or 2010. In 2010 actually was very interesting because it was during the Great Depression that happened in 2007, 2008, and only certain people had capital and a lot of capital. So it was not hard because there was deals, foreclosures everywhere, right? It was millions and millions in foreclosure properties. So it was very different. Today, the good deals are very few and far between. The really solid deals and most of them are off market, which we have the relation to bring to the table. Those deals that are being marketed for 2 years or 3 years are obviously now they're
Mhm.
marginal. They're very marginal. And we see that as
Absolutely.
well. We see that.
Yeah.
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 Oh, we were
Yeah.
selling 3 years ago. Oh, we just lowered the price with 35 cents a unit. Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's the era of any deal is good is long gone. Because for a while, I think Jay just made a comment about it. Like you
Yes.
could be a pretty
Yes.
like bad operator and still do well 10 years ago
Yes.
because it
Yes.
was pretty easy to make money in multifamily specifically, even if you're doing self-storage or something like that. But now you really have to have your head on straight and know what you're doing. And one little mistake can, and we've seen this from a lot of operators the last few years,
Absolutely.
just vanish, right? And the ones who are here on this call who are left standing, they did things the
Yes.
right way, hopefully, right?
Yes.
So very well put. I'm curious, what are some ways that you try to establish credibility with investors right before you have them write a check? What are some methods that you use for finding and attracting them and building that relationship?
I usually would participate in events like yours, being invited by several IRA companies that I go to their monthly or biweekly meetings and they ask me to present different topics and I love doing that. I've been to several multifamily investing conferences. I've spoken to those in the last 5 years, probably about 6 or 7 of them. And that also creates credibility. I've been on the panel, I've been presenting. I love doing that. I love doing that because I love educating people, really. Seeing how the light goes on and they understand it is a joy for me that, and they come back and say, okay, I didn't know that. I'm really glad you mentioned that. I love that. I absolutely love that. And those are the kinds of approaches that I do quite a bit of posting on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably my main social platform that I post on. I would love to expand to Facebook and Instagram, but I'm not there yet. I see a lot of Facebook posts for our business recently. I see that. If Grant is posting there, must be good. So yeah, but LinkedIn is very good for us. Conferences, events like that, podcasts, interviews also creates a lot of credibility when people see when you're speaking from the heart, when you're not putting it on, people know.
Yeah,
People are
education is
not dumb.
obviously, yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
education is obviously, we do this, we do our events, and Tim does a whole bunch of other podcasts too. It's probably the
Absolutely.
best way, to right? The most organic way to just, hey, I'm going to teach you something you don't know, and I hope you'll want to learn more about me. Then we get on a call and it
Yes.
goes from there.
Yes.
Very good. Awesome. And Let's say we go through all of these, we do all these things, right? We post, we use LinkedIn. I prefer LinkedIn to Facebook. It's Facebook can be very muddy with all the AI and
Very
stuff on there
muddy.
now.
Very much.
And so we're posting, we're doing podcasts, so we get all these investors. So once you have a deal, what are some like marketing strategies you use when you're ready to promote a deal?
Once I have a deal and I'm ready to promote a deal, I start making phone calls. First, I want to connect on the phone. I don't want to just send blank emails. Oh, look at my deal, blah, blah, blah. Click here and give me $5 million. I don't want that. I work with several family offices that are very open and willing to invest in our deals because they have done it in the past. So I go first to my already proven channels of investors. And then I have a list where I have created in the last year. And those people have already some sort of a relationship with them. Then I would make a phone call. Then I would send an email. I would suggest a Zoom meeting to go on or invite them to our webinar for our deal because we do the webinars usually every couple of weeks for a certain deal. They would be invited to that. And after that, they ask questions. We answer the questions. I mainly answer all the questions, really, besides a couple of more people. And we answer the questions. And then hopefully by that time, they're convinced that this is a great investment and they would click on the link to our portal of our deal.
I understand. Okay. So whenever you have these people getting on a webinar, getting on a phone call, what do you think is like the biggest objection that you run into these days? What's the biggest reason someone is not saying no, but not saying yes either? What's the biggest objection you're running into?
The biggest objection? That's a very good question. I think the biggest objection is that they have their money tied up. They really like the deal, but they have money coming in from other investments and they're not going to meet the deadline. Then I simply say, you wait for the next deal. No problem. If you cannot meet that deadline, let's say it's March 15th and they're going to have the money on April 21st, whatever. Then you wait for the next deal. I believe that is the biggest objection. Or on certain deals, we have a minimum of 250. So
Right.
some people are not really ready to do the 250. Then we have to go, okay, I can do 100,000. Okay, we are going to make an exception and take you in for 100,000 because you're not prepared for 250. Can I do 250 in 3 months because I have other money coming in? I can convert my IRA, my Roth IRA or 401k into a self-directed IRA. Yes, absolutely. We help them do that as well because very knowledgeable. We're not fiduciaries for IRAs, but we're very knowledgeable from working with fiduciaries for self-directed IRAs, and we give them a complete support and we direct them so they can, and it happens very quickly, really. They think it's going to happen in months, but it happens literally in a week.
Yeah, yeah. And you make a good point that I come across very often, right? Because I talk to a lot of people who are looking to do funds and syndications and raise capital.
Yes.
And a lot of them are like, oh, I have a $200,000 minimum, a 250 minimum. So I can only raise money from these people. You can always have exceptions, right? You can always write in exceptions for these people because there's more people with 50 to 100,000 than 250. And also, Tim tells a story quite often about one of his investors very recently wrote him like a $1.5 million check. But his first investment was 50 grand,
There
right?
you go.
So it sounds good on paper to say, oh, I only want to raise money from the big fish. I don't want to deal with 10 people at 50K. I want to deal with one guy at 500K. Those relationships take longer. They need way more time in your funnel, so to say. I need to know you for a year before I write you a $500,000 check. But I can write you a $50,000 check after a couple months, maybe, if we have the right build up to it. And so being able to make that exception and say, hey, our minimum's 250, but I'll make a special exception for you. And you make it feel special too.
Great point.
Yeah. And sticking to your guns on your minimums can lose you some investor. And then that guy,
And
in 2 years, he's writing $1 million check, right? So,
you could have lost that
um,
$1.5 million check if you
yeah.
initially said, "Oh, no way, we cannot take 50. That's a violation of our rules, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
could have missed on this $1.5 million check.
Yeah. And obviously everyone has different structures and class shares and
Yes,
things
yes,
set up. So sometimes
absolutely.
you maybe sometimes you legally can't in some cases. But
Maybe
in
sometimes you
most
legally can. Right.
Yeah. But in most cases, it's like Warren Buffett says, rule number one is take care of your investors, return their money. Rule number two is refer to rule number one, right? So you're
Yeah,
always trying to solve for them,
I
which is a really
love the
good point
man.
really good point you made. So I'm curious, do you have
Yeah.
like an ideal investor avatar or profile you target? Like I know you mentioned the IRA people. Do you have a specific kind of person, whether it's like cultural background, career background, some part of the country, like anything that you target or no?
I usually get along with medical doctors, dentists, PhD people that are doctors as well, but doctors indifferent. I get
Hmm.
along with those people beautifully because they don't like BS. They're straight to the point, and I'm very direct and straight to the point. So we get along, two peas in a pod. But
Hmm.
veterinary doctors, I love them too. They're more lax and wonderful, and they're dealing with animals, and I love that. But not a specific, really, background. I love people that have traveled. I love all people, don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
I really enjoy having conversations with people that have traveled and enjoyed the world and understand that there's so much more than our little tiny bitty space we have grown up in or we've lived in for the last 30 years. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm very cosmopolitan, very, very open, very open.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that whether it's like vets, doctors, anyone, what's like right now I know this time of year it's pretty obvious, but what are their primary motivations for investing, your avatar that you deal with?
Their primary motivation for investing is really creating generational wealth. They want their children, their grandchildren, their great grandchildren to benefit from that, from their smart decision. I think that is their main motivation. A few and far between are really expecting pretty quickly an income, but those are fine as well, that in 60 days or 90 days or 6 months, they're going to start receiving those checks. Those are great as well because they have the urgency of doing it now because I can't wait for the next 5 years to start doing this.
Yeah. I think that it's like everyone's goal is to create generational wealth, but at the same time, you deal with the investors
Absolutely.
who are like, I still need a check soon. I still
Yes,
need to
I
see my
feel
money
it.
soon. So it's that balance. You do the balancing act of
Yes,
saying, hey, this
yes.
is a process,
It's
which
a
goes back
process.
to education. One of the things that we do that I think some people skip is asking them, why do you want to invest? Like, what's your wealth goal? Because if
Uh-huh.
you want to make $5,000 or $500,000, those are two like the kinds of deals you'll invest in and how much you'll invest and when you'll invest. Like those things matter.
Yeah.
And some investors just gloss over it. They don't really see it as, oh, I didn't really think about that. And then you get them thinking, and then
Right.
they're like, oh, how can you help me, Rayna? How can you help me make a wealth goal and keeping it more like organic, right?
Yes,
Very
yes.
good. Very good.
Organic is
Okay.
the key, I think. I think organic is really the key.
Yeah, I
Keeping it
agree. It's
organic.
2026. People I don't believe, want to be sold. They've heard it all. They're being sold everywhere in the
Everywhere.
mall, from the shop
Oh,
guys, the
oh,
guys doing the shoe shining. You've got
they're chasing us.
telemarketers.
They're
Yeah,
running
yeah, yeah,
after
yeah.
us.
Let me clean your shoes, right?
Yes,
Online on social media, there's ads everywhere. Everyone's being sold. So I think that being more organic, more educational in your approach, and that's really what we do too. So I'd love to hear that from you as well. And it sounds like it's done very well for you. And so I'm
absolutely.
curious, we're raising money, we're doing all these deals, but once they invest, how do you cultivate and maintain long-term relationships with your investors? If they invest in February, how do you make sure when you have your deal in August and September and October that you're still top of mind? Do you guys do newsletters or direct mail, or you just do emails? How do you make sure that they're
We do monthly
top of mind?
emails. Also, we give them a 30-minute time during the month if they want to take it for a call or a Zoom. If they're interested, we give them that option. You can sign up for Zoom or you can put on the calendar for just a simple phone call, which phones were created for, but now we use them for so much more. Phone used to be, I don't know if you remember that, but used to be you pick up the phone and you answer it. No, now we use phones for everything. And yeah, we give them those options. So if they want to schedule a 30-minute every month, they're welcome to do that. They receive monthly emails from us. They would receive sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, they would receive a birthday congratulations for their birthday, their anniversaries. Oh, we love anniversaries. Like their wedding anniversary. We love anniversaries. We send them also that. And to some special investors, we have the wine club. We have bakes we send. We have a whole bunch of stuff. A whole
Giving them
bunch of stuff.
gifts.
Yes, nice
Hmm.
gifts. Nice gift. What do you give to
Yeah.
somebody that has everything? You're just being creative. You have to be creative.
Yeah. Attention to detail. One of my favorite.
Attention to yes. Yes.
Yeah, one of my favorite things that I've heard people do is Jeremy Dyer. A lot of you guys know Jeremy with Rise 48. He writes to most of his bigger. He writes handwritten letters,
Oh,
which
I love that.
stand out.
I
You
love
write a
that.
handwritten letter, comes across a lot differently. I mean, they're not sending me gifts or anything, but he cares. He knows who I am.
Yes.
He remembers
Yes.
details about me. For
Yes.
any of you guys that are, if you have 20, 30, 40, like if you're still starting raising capital, it can be a really good way. It's time consuming, obviously, but you will stand out so much further than the other people. Because if I'm an investor, I'm investing with multiple people, but I'm going to remember
Totally.
you so
Totally.
more
Totally.
because you took that, or the anniversary, right? You mentioned on one call, oh, our wedding anniversary is in October, and you write it down and you remember. No one else remembered but you. So people want to be like seen, not just like a paycheck or a paycheck, a
No.
check.
No.
So
We
that's
want to
really
be
good to hear.
cared for and seen. Yes. Oh, how's little Tommy? How's Mary? That makes a big difference. And because I'm looking at my note on my computer and I see Mary's the daughter, Tommy's the son, ask those questions.
And so I'm curious, what kind of steps do you take? I'm not sure if you guys take soft commitments or anything like that. I know so a lot of people do it differently. How do you guys make sure that funds are readily available when you get a deal that comes across your desk? So you're not having to like scramble. Do you soft float it out as you're doing underwriting? Like, how do you guys make sure, hey, if we sign this LOI, we're going to be able to raise this money?
That's exactly what we do. You hit it right on the nail. While we're still underwriting and we're in the LOI process, we sent an LOI, maybe it's not responded yet, but we are going to start asking for the soft commitment. And we're going to collect, let's say, $1 million on soft commitment. We know that's going to be maybe half of that when it's going to happen, when exactly. So we always have to have more soft commitments, a lot more. I would always say 50%. Tell me if somebody is doing 80% of soft commitments, I want to learn how.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it's right about 50% of 10 people said they're going to send 100,000. Five of those, whatever happens, and then you receive just five of those, 500,000. So you got to have a lot more of soft commitment. Overfunding is a wonderful problem to have. We've had that happen, and it's lovely and it's beautiful because we ask the people, do you want to go on to the next deal? Do you want us to refund you right now? Why are you back the money? They said, no, I want to go on the next deal. Great. So overfunding is our favorite word.
Absolutely. Yeah. For a lot of
Yes.
people, a lot of these calls I have, and they're like, hey, I need to raise $1 million. I'm like, do you have the ability to raise two? Should. Because if you have a million people, if you have, oh, I have a guy telling, I have three people telling me, give me $1 million total. What happens when, let's say one of those a $350,000 check? What happens when they back out, or their grandma gets sick, or like anything? It's life.
Anything.
Even if they,
Anything.
and so you should
Anything.
always have it. It's not always doable when you're raising like 5 million. You should always try to get double in soft commitments what your raise is, at least generally,
Absolutely.
so that you're safe. And then, like you said, if you have to overfund, that's a great problem to have.
Great.
And so
Yes.
you can always, and then you figure out, okay, how can I make this other money fit somewhere else? So really good to see your kind of process on that. Have you guys ever had a deal that was in hot water or faced a capital call or anything like that? And if so, how did you guys navigate that process? Because obviously it's real estate, right? We all have some failures, right? We all have some that, whether our fault or not, right? A few years ago, the rate hikes
Doesn't
happened.
matter whose fault it is. We've had failures.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter whose fault it is. We have had several deals that we, instead of having a capital call, we dug out into our pockets and we covered the money. We didn't have a capital call. Thank God for that. We told our people, we told them, we're going into our pocket and A couple of them said, I can send 50, I can send 100. We did not ask for it. We said, we're going deep and we're digging. We're going to dig us out of the hole because we are here to do that. If we cannot solve situations and issues and problems, we have no business doing this business. If we're always looking, blaming other people, always looking for somebody else, no. The mirror is right here. I'm looking at the mirror and this person is watching straight at me.
Yeah, that's really well put because we do a lot of fund to fund, right? We raise money for a lot of other operators where we're not the GP or
Yeah.
co-GP. One of the
Right.
biggest things we
Right.
look for is, are they well capitalized? Because if something goes wrong, right? And like you said, hey, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. Deal is
Doesn't
losing
matter.
money or distributions pause. Do they have the
Right.
ability to inject their own money? Because if they don't, and this goes for anyone who's looking to co-GP or do fund to funds or anything like that, the operator
Yes.
isn't well capitalized. If they don't have reserves, then if you raise money for that deal, they're going to your LPs. They don't see it. If I'm a co-GP in a deal, they see it as I'm asking them for a capital call because I am. Even if I had
Yes,
no,
kind of
even
you
if
are.
even if it wasn't my fault why the deal lost money, right? Like I'm still. They see a lot of investors don't see the distinction between GP and co-GP. They see you guys as one entity, which they
Yeah.
should.
Sure.
And so having that, hey, look in the mirror, right? Do we have the money to fix this? That's
Yes.
really good to hear because not everyone has that approach. A lot of people make
No.
excuses. Oh, it was the rate
Excuses.
hikes.
Oh, I didn't do
Yeah.
anything. John did that. And
Yeah,
Mary
yeah.
did that. Be quiet.
Yeah,
Nobody cares what
absolutely.
somebody did. Just
Mhm.
handle it and solve the issue.
I agree.
Solve the issue.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Yeah.
During
That's
COVID,
that
we had that several times.
COVID, I think everyone had
Yes.
something happen.
Yes.
COVID owned real estate, so
Yes.
not uncommon. So I'm curious, do you manage a fund, or if you guys opened a fund, and if so, what kind of fund is it? Have you only done
We are
syndication?
opening a fund right now that's going to be only for mobile home park. And yeah. And we want to open another one for multifamily where we are going to have the money ready there. And when the deals come, which we have tremendous deals last year and this year, it's shaping really nicely. But yeah, we want to have the fund ready to put the deals back.
Are you guys doing like a blind pool fund or a customizable fund or fund
Customizable.
structure? Gotcha. Yeah, let them
Customizable. Yes.
pick and choose
Yes.
what kind of deals they want to put their money into.
Correct. They can pick and choose from multifamily to mobile home park. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, for 2026, I think a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on what's going on. You have politics, you have the economy, there's all these things happening. The world is crazy right now. So, what are some of your predictions for the market this year and going forward? How are you preparing to sure you guys can succeed?
That's an awesome question. I think 2026 and 2027 is going to be a very interesting year of a lot of the loans, a lot of the debt for multifamily and commercial real estate in general, but multifamily specifically is going to reset. Is going to reset. We have over, I think, $8 trillion in commercial debt that is about to reset in 26 and 27. And I think it's going to be a lot of opportunities to buy tremendous assets at pennies on the dollar. I see it every problem. I can tell you that there is an opportunity in it. Every problem, every crisis has created opportunity. Every negative
So,
could be turned into positive.
yeah, I think it was, what was the saying? We've been saying it for a few weeks now. Survive 25, thrive in 26 is what everyone's been
That's
saying.
it.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Because, and even we work with a lot of very successful, very large operators. And even for us, it's, hey, we don't have a deal as often as we'd like because now you have to be a lot more selective, right?
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is a good and a bad thing, obviously. But now we're
It's a good
seeing
and bad. Yes.
January, February, March so far are looking a lot different than this time, like the end of 24, early 25, at least deals we're looking
I
at.
agree.
And very good take on it. I like to hear that. It can always be, there's someone has a problem, someone could solve it, right?
That's right.
You see a lot of people on the sidelines. That's okay. That means there's
That's
opportunity.
okay. If you want
somewhere.
to wait for 2030, that's
Yeah,
not
right.
for me to judge.
Absolutely. Do you have any big tools or softwares like syndication software, investor portal that you rely on in your business that you recommend to other people?
Absolutely. We've used them all, I believe, through the years, but we are right now on the cash flow portal and we're loving it. We're loving it. I would recommend it to anyone who is not using an investment portal yet or It's affordable, and I think that makes a big difference too, versus other portals that are quite pricey. And it's a very good portal, and it's easy to operate. People have very few problems with it. Only people that are not very computer savvy would have a problem every now and then. But other than that, it's very easy.
Yeah, Adrian and Perry, we know very well. They sponsor a lot of our events. They're very receptive. They're kind of like the
Very,
newer kids on the
very,
block. And yeah, we've used them for quite a few deals. They're really good. So glad to hear that.
really good.
Yeah. Do you have any other like marketing software or anything else you use?
High level, we use high level. Oh my goodness, we've used everything under the sun and more, and some under the moon too. And some of those require another degree for you to use it for
Yeah.
CRM and researching it and setting it up. But high level seems to me that it's pretty easy, even though we had to set it up and it took a little time to set it up. After that, is not that hard to operate. I know people use HubSpot. We've used HubSpot before. Which one do you guys use?
We use Go High Level. We've built out a very robust. I think when you first start it, it's the user interface isn't the most
Yeah,
friendly, but once you
yeah,
have your process in place, I think it is by far the most robust. HubSpot's okay. It's a little pricey in my opinion for what you get.
it's a little
And
pricey. Yes,
you can
yes,
use email, SMS, WhatsApp, all of our websites, all of our funnels, all the marketing Tim does that you guys get. It's all in Go High Level. There's no external softwares. You can build anything in there.
that's
It's
it.
awesome. So we
That's
swear by Go
awesome.
High Level.
Yeah. Say,
And
great minds think alike.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So good to hear that you guys like the same companies and software as we do. And the tool, you're only as good as the tools you have, right? No one can do it on
That's
their
right.
own. So making sure you guys have the right tools is super important. And so you have quite a lengthy journey that you've gone on in real estate. So I'm curious if you could go back and restart it, do anything differently?
I'm
Besides investing in Bitcoin 15 years ago, that doesn't count.
Yes, investing in Bitcoin 15 years ago. We did, and we even mined, but then we sold it at a very high price, which we thought at that time was a high price.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's funny with crypto. It's been an interesting ride with crypto too. But if I would do anything different, I would probably go from the first day into multifamily. That's what I would do different. Instead of going into single family and doing that for a few years, or quite a few years, for over 10 years, I would probably go directly into multifamily.
I think that's probably a commonly shared response that we hear a lot. Oh, I spent 10 years in single family and realized I could have made way more money with way less stress.
Yes,
But you don't know
yes,
what you don't know.
yes.
Very good.
You don't know
Very
what you
good.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, great answer. And so, what advice would you give to someone who aspires to raise 5, 10, 50 million, do 1,000 units, but doubts their ability to like achieve that? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
What is your fear? I would ask them the first question, what is your fear? What are you fearing today? What are you afraid of? And after I hear the answer, let's say they say, I'm afraid of dealing with people. Then I would ask the next question is dealing with people, every single profession, every single business takes dealing with people. So I would ask them to go and develop people skill, right? Dealing with people is your number one know-how of how to be successful in any business. Whether you are a grocery store on the corner, little mom and pop grocery store, or you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars in multifamily, you have to deal with people. So the fears that prevent us from going to where we want to go, I think is the biggest obstacle. And the second biggest is probably many of us not writing down their goal. Writing down, I think Brian Tracy says that only 47% of Americans write their goals down. And then out of those 47%, only 12% review them on a daily or regular basis. I suggest look at your goals every day, every morning, every evening, pray over them. I'm a faith girl. I would tell you that prayer works. And pray and believe and have the faith and the confidence in yourself. First, you have to have the confidence in yourself that you can achieve that.
Very good response.
Nobody
I
can
love that.
stop you. If you have that confidence, really, nobody can stop you.
You have been so generous sharing your knowledge with us today. This is one of my more favorite interviews I've done recently since I don't do it every week. Tim
Thank
does it
you
a lot.
so much, Logan.
But I'm curious, how can the audience support or give back to you?
connect with me. Let's chat. Let's work together. Let's create together. Let's help people together.
What's the best way for them to connect with you?
The best way is an email, and I'll give you a direct line as well. Email is, I'm going to put it in the chat. It's Rayna, Rayna, at myloveapartment.com. And 805-270-5545 is my direct line.
Awesome. Yeah. So you guys reach out to Rayna if you're interested in chatting with her. I know that even the super experienced people on the call and people listening to this, a lot of people do listen to this recording, are going to be very interested in chatting with you because you have such a varied background. You have so experience in so many different things. I think it gives you a very unique perspective on what you guys are doing, and you have a lot of the same philosophies behind why you do business the same way that we do.
I
So
love
really
that. I love that.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Similar minds, similar mindsets and ideas is what really excites me.
Yeah, absolutely.